Hello FPL managers, today we have the Game Week 1 preview. In today's video we have a look at a variety of discussion points for the upcoming game week, so there's definitely plenty to talk about. If you guys do want to get the extra edge for this FPL season, then click the top link in the description to get yourselves 65% off Fantasy Football Fix Premium and also get yourselves a free strategy guide. So just before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel as we're trying to hit 3,000 subs by Game Week 1. Also click the notification bell so guys don't miss any future content, and with that being said, let's get into the video. So coming into Game Week 1, there is a couple of key discussion points, including transfer targets both in and out of the squad, Game Week topics such as the likes of key injured players, whether Tsimikas is worth having in the starting squad, and have a look at some nice best defensive rotation options. Also, captaincy selection is a very important topic for any game week, and we'll be going over 3 potential options to chuck on the armband. So having a look at some transfer targets coming into Game Week 1, these are 4 players here which I would highly recommend having in your squad, as I would consider them essential options. First in there is Robert Sanchez at £4.5 million. I have seen a couple of people going for more expensive goalkeepers, such as the likes of Edison, which is on the out column there. It is worthwhile going for cheaper keepers to be able to spend more money around the squad, and just in general, keepers score fairly similar points across the span of the season. Luke Shaw at 5.5 seems to be great value compared to many of the other premium defender options, such as the likes of Robertson or Diaz. He had some very nice attacking outputs last year, and I definitely would expect him to continue on this form this season. Mohamed Salah at £12.5 million is another one that I would consider an essential option, as he currently has a 50% ownership, and if you are part of that 50% that doesn't have him, then he is definitely worthwhile going for. Mikel Antonio at 7.5 million as well, I think is a great shout, as West Ham have some very nice starting fixtures, and Antonio has the highest XG per 90 last season, which was sitting at 0.64. In terms of the out column there, obviously Robertson is injured. Dallas has seen a position change to midfield, so I would not be getting him in despite his nice points tally last year. He was previously a defender, so he was getting a lot of extra points for clean sheets. And Harry Kane at 12.5 million in the forward line, I'm not too sure about him, whether he'll be able to play for Game Week 1 or not, but I think there are better value options for his price. In every game week, there's always discussion about injuries, and here are some key injured players coming to Game Week 1. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is currently carrying in a toe injury to the first game week of the season, as he currently has a 75% chance of playing. There really hasn't been too much information about Calvert-Lewin's availability for Everton, but I am still unsure whether he'll be able to take to the pitch or not. It is a potential 1 week suspected injury, so you would expect him back for Game Week 2, but at the moment in Game Week 1 he is a bit up in the air, so it could be worthwhile steering clear of him, as he is £8 million, and I feel like there are better £8 million strikers, such as the likes of Bamford or Danny Ings. The only thing is with Calvert-Lewin is that he has some nice starting fixtures, which is why I can see a lot of managers have got him in their squads, but I do think since he is a bit of an injury doubt, maybe steer clear of him and go for that Ings option. Moving on, another highly owned player with an injury doubt at the moment is Ollie Watkins. He does have a 75% chance of playing, and he is one that I would expect to take to the pitch for Game Week 1. He obviously should be playing through this knock for the first game week, but I would expect him to be back to full fitness after his 1 week suspected injury in Game Week 2. Obviously, Villa have some great fixtures to start the year, so it is key to look at their attacking assets, but since the arrival of Danny Ings to the club, Ollie Watkins will be pushed out wide to that left wing position, and Danny Ings will obtain that striker role. So if you are looking for that Villa attacking asset, I think Danny Ings is probably the go compared to Ollie Watkins, as he does have this knock and he will be playing out wide. Moving on to another key discussion point for Game Week 1, it is what to do about Tsimikas. He has been one of the most talked about players in terms of FPL over the most recent days, and has seen a lot of managers transfer him in since Robertson's injury. Tsimikas did put together a great preseason for Liverpool, and he has been receiving praise from his manager, and obviously he did pick up that assist in his most recent preseason game. There is going to be an international break after the first 3 weeks of the season, which would mean it would give time Robertson to come back, as he is expected to arrive back in the Premier League on the 12th of September. So essentially you will only have Tsimikas for the first 3 weeks of the season, as Liverpool face Norwich, Burnley and Chelsea, which are a decent batch of fixtures. Ideally, you wouldn't start him against Chelsea at home, so you would only be playing him for those first 2 matches, and if you do want to have him in the team as you consider him nice value for these 2 games, then he is a nice option. The other key thing to think about with Tsimikas is that he does take up that Liverpool slot, so if you do want to go for that third Liverpool option, whether it be Jota or Mane, then it won't be able to do so, as you do have Tsimikas taking up that spot. The most common Liverpool combination of 3 right now does seem to be Alexander-Arnold, Tsimikas and Mo Salah, and you obviously will be having to transfer out Tsimikas after the first 3 matches unless you do use an early wildcard. But if you only plan to have him for the short term, then at £4 million, I definitely think he's going to be nice value, as he should be one of the top scoring defenders after the first 3 weeks. Moving on, another key feature to think about when building your teams is having a look at defensive rotations, especially amongst £4 and £4.5 million defenders. This defensive rotation stats and info is provided from Fantasy Football Fix, and according to them, the best 2 teams to rotate amongst defenders include Brighton and Leeds. As you can see here, you would go for your Brighton assets for the first 4 weeks of the season, as they face Burnley, Watford, Everton and Brentford as their first 4. Then Leeds have a nice fixture swing in game week 5 where they face Newcastle away. If you do combine these 2 players, then you will optimise your points of 30.3 across the first 5 weeks, which I think is a very nice tally. Other honourable mentions in terms of combinations do include Arsenal and Leeds, as well as Arsenal and Leicester City. All these combinations do tend to have fairly high points, but the combination of Brighton and Leeds defence is giving 30.3 points, which is significantly higher than any other rotation. In terms of the Leeds and Brighton assets, Veltman and Ayling do seem to be the best £4.5 million options from the respective defences, so I would go with those 2 players. And moving on to the final talking point of the game week, this is potentially one of the most important talking points for any given game week, and that is captaincy selection. Having a player on captaincy does allow their score to be doubled, so it is imperative that you have the highest scoring player in your team, or the player that you think will receive the most points on captain. The first option to have a look at is Mo Salah. The Egyptian King does face Norwich away in the first game week of the season, which is looking like a very favourable fixture for them. Salah has scored in the 4 previous game week 1 matches that he has played in the Premier League, and he is such a prolific player at the start of any season. In my opinion, if you could pick any team in the league to play right now in terms of an attacking output, you would pick Norwich, and I just would expect Salah to get on the score sheet in this match. Fix does predict Salah to score 7.3 points in game week 1, which is the highest amongst any player, so for that reason I think he's the best captaincy shout. Bruno Fernandes is another highly owned player that a lot of people will be either captaining or vice captaining for this week, as he faces Leeds at home. Fernandes is a safe option, but he is projected less points than Mo Salah against Leeds, as he is only projected 6.1. And to cap it off, Sadio Mane is the 3rd captaincy option, as he is currently predicted the 2nd highest points for game week 1, which is sitting at 7.2. As I touched on before, Norwich does seem to be the best fixture from an attacking standpoint, and Sadio Mane had a great preseason for Liverpool. Mane would definitely be a big differential captain and is obviously less safe than the likes of Salah and Fernandes, but the rewards potential is definitely there. Mane is a very streaky player, and when he does get into good form like he was at the back end of last season and this preseason, he can get himself plenty of attacking returns, so there is potential there for a big haul for him. So that's all I've got for today for the Game Week 1 preview. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to show support for the channel, as we're trying to hit 3,000 subs by Game Week 1. Also, click that notification bell so you guys don't miss any future uploads, and leave a comment what you guys thought of this video and how your teams are lining up for Game Week 1, as I'll be interested to see. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.